Survivor 50, episode 6. 3 eliminations. Applebee's is back. And much, much more. We'll talk all about it, break it down. It's the Manchild Show with Boyd Green Digital Survivor Show, live on a Wednesday night. Right now. All right, let's break it down, Boyd Green. A lot to get into on this episode. Let's start.
Whoa, hey, my pizza guy. What's going on?
Will woke up with a crab right on his chest. It was so funny. We caught it and ate it.
Give a flying hoops a minute, give your hand.
All right, so here we go. Breakdown, recap of episode 6. As Jeff Probst said during the broadcast, a historic night. And the history made was 3 eliminations in a single night. Not surprising, I think, to any of us here on the panel, simply because with all of these cast members, we knew there were going to be nights like this. So for them to make history, it almost had to happen because you only got so many nights to eliminate so many people. And this is a very, very large cast. So no surprise at all. But we could talk about the history of it. And I've got a lot to say, critically, frankly, of this episode. And again, it has nothing to do with my draft or anything like that. Just been annoying me for years. I've voiced my opinion on this in prior recap shows over the years, and it's coming out again tonight. Sorry, boys. The fangs are coming out. All right, it's the Manchild, it's Boyd Green, and let's bring in the most important member of our 3-man team here, and that's Bret LaBelle, the former survivor himself, the cop from Boston. Bret, good evening. How are you, sir?
Gents, how are you? Lurch, I'm glad you're fired up, Lurch, because I'm fired up too. What was that? What was
favorite
that?
Ohio cop back in the chat? Way to go, Derek. All right, baby. Derek is a dedicated member of our
appreciate you, Derek. Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Derek. Always welcome, my friend. Always welcome. Continue to get in that. You can own that chat if you want, Derek. That's totally up. You can own it. You can own that damn chat. All right, Bret. Well, let's talk about it. Let's break it down. 3 eliminations. All right, let me just give the names out here. We'll start there and then we'll work our way backwards. But Camilla goes home in Tribal Council 1. Genevieve goes home in Tribal Council 2. And Colby goes home in Tribal Council 3. Let's just do this. Rating from 1 to 10, each Tribal Council. Loved it as a 10. Hated it. It's a 1. Okay. Rate the 3 Tribal Councils. First Tribal Council, Camilla goes home. Boyd Green, rating on Tribal Council 1.
Like a 7, because like it sort of set up that Chrissy was the sacrificial lamb just to go home. And I was hoping, while I don't really have much skin in the game for Chrissy in particular, you know, I had much more hate for Camilla. So if that surprise happened, I was like, woo, please. And so that was kind of juicy. So I appreciated that. So 7 on the final results. Very nice.
Bret, Tribal Council 1.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9. I mean, nothing against Camilla. I don't hate her, but I just, she, you know, just for this season, for what was going on, I was happy with that result.
All right. I'm with you, Bret. I'm going to go 9 as well. I love a Tribal Council. We've had 3 groups of 5, and then we'll talk about the 2 that went to Exile Island and what that was all about. But we had 3 tribes of 5, 17 people left in the game. And so 5 each Tribal Council. You're hoping, you know, if you want drama, if you like, you know, for things to go down on the wire here, that you've got 2 and 2, and then you got the waffle player, which happens often in Survivor, no matter whether it's 5 or 7 or 9 or 3. There's always that waffle player that's going to end up making the decision. It was very clear it was Jonathan. It was very unclear the way they edited it, which way he was going to go. He's been thinking about trying to play a little more, even though he is a new school era player. He has old school values. So was he going to go with the values thing, or was he going to go, again, with the idea of, I got to move forward with some of these new schoolers. Maybe I got to side with them here, even though I don't completely and utterly trust them. He ended up going with his old school roots. I'm very proud of him. I believe Camilla should have gone home. I'm glad that he went that way. Looks like there's going to be some fireworks coming out of this. And I also, one of the reasons I like this tribal a lot was when Tiffany got her chance to speak, and she literally, I hate to say it, but generally, without using his name, threatened Jonathan by saying, there'll be 100%. Things to answer here, depending on how you vote. Why does Jonathan have things? Doesn't everyone have things to answer for how they vote? Why is the guy who's the swing guy the guy that has all the things to answer for? I completely disagreed with that. Bret, give me your take on that. I thought that was kind of a hot moment in that thing. And I could tell you, I was fired up in my living room watching it and screaming at the TV. That's it, Jonathan. Don't go with her. She just threatened you, man. Go with the old schoolers, man. Let's get on the bandwagon here. And he did. I'm very proud of Jonathan tonight.
Yeah, definitely a threat. I felt that same thing. And I was like, if I was Jonathan, that's the thing. You got to be very careful when you handle, when you have a person like Jonathan, who's, the flip, he can flip either way. And I think he played it great. I don't think that anyone could tell how he was going to vote. I think he played his hand very well. He had a poker face. I don't think she had a clue. I thought that Tiff and Camilla thought that he was with them 100%. But yeah, that definitely felt like a threat at Tribal, and I didn't like it. And you know what? She got what she deserved after that, So
the most overlooked part of Survivor to me is that layer of social game is how do you handle people? And that sounds sort of like unemotional to say that, because like handling people, it's not like we're herding sheep here, but that's sort of how it seemed like to me. Tiff was treating Jonathan like, hey man, obviously this is what you're going to do, very instructive at camp. And then I felt the same thing, like if I'm Jonathan, I'm like, ooh, what'd you just say? Without saying my name. That was very threatening. And you could tell, again, maybe it's the edit, but Jonathan had an obvious physical reaction to that comment, like, oh, interesting. So yeah, I really appreciated that. So yeah, there was some juice there for sure.
All right, so 2 9s and a 7, first tribal council. Second tribal council, Genevieve goes home. It felt like she was going home. I mean, I guess they could have swung it over to Joe. Either way, Manchild was losing somebody. I was like, come on, man. What I got to go to these tribals and have 2 of my people up for it just because of the numbers? And this is, again, where I get ticked off, guys, because this thing of flipping the tribes and just creating, I understand they're going to have to do more eliminations. I just don't like it when they just randomly throw tribes together. And then it's like drawing lots. Like, all right, depends on who you end up in. All of a sudden, Aubrey, who hasn't been playing well this season, really, to me, is not a player of deserving of moving on, but she just ends up in the right combination of people, and she's not at risk. And so, and she doesn't even have to play her. I'd always see a feeling it in her pocket. I knew she wasn't playing that thing. You could play it up all you want.
She would have if Genevieve shot in the dark worked and I'm Aubrey. I'm like, fuck this. I'm playing this. I don't know what the hell's about to happen. So I think that was the gun on the holster. Like, oh, is she meant to be safe? Because if so, like that's that Sari thing that happened on Game Changers, where all of a sudden, boom, 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 everyone starts like I ain't going home on this, and you're unloading everything in the clip, and then Sari was the one because of everyone else having an advantage. Yeah, I would have done that if I was Aubrey. That was my only sense of the drama of it.
All right, rate Tribal Council 2, Boy Green, scale of 1 to 10.
Like 2.5, just because, it's Survivor's job in editing to make it seem, outside of very rare circumstances,
it could go different ways, right?
Right. In some circumstances, they're like, wow, we as editors can't hide this. We're just going to make this a homecoming. Hey, some emotional piano is played. Yep. Hey, give us the touchy feely. And then that person's clearly out. But, that's rare. Normally you try to say, ooh, but Devins could go, or perhaps Joe flip. And there's all this stuff thrown out there. But for me, I'm like, okay, outside of a shot in the dark, which is a shot in the dark, it could work.
I'm glad she played it. Good play by her.
Yeah, 100%. Great read by her. That's what you should do. It didn't work out, but you should. So now I think it's like a 2.5. Like the person went home who I thought was obvious to go home. It sucks because I thought very highly of Genevieve in the fantasy draft. But no, in terms of prediction, result, the action, 2.5.
Bret, what do you rate this one?
10. I don't even remember who she was. I'm like, who is this person on season 50? I don't know if you remember. I have no idea who she was. I don't know who she is now. I don't remember her from her season. I don't know why she's playing, just like so many people on this season. John, what's his name? Bicky. Christian, who I like. I'm fine with him being cast on 50. But he said these are the best people ever cast on stuff. These are the best people have ever played. Lie. These are not the best people that ever played. There's a lot of people that shouldn't be out here, and she's one of them. And I'm sure she's a wonderful person, but I don't remember her. I don't remember her from her season. I know she played well. I hear you guys. I know that Boy Green loves her, but I don't know. She's not memorable to me.
And Lurch, before you grade this one, hey, I got to give some props to Christian and Devins here. that Genevieve says she overheard whispers that Christian and Devins were close, but obviously she didn't know how close because she told him, "Hey, Christian, you want to get out that Devins guy?" And he's like, "Devin." He didn't say this to her, but he's like, "Devins my number one. I'm not getting rid of him." So, wow, I thought for sure it was sort of obvious how close they were, but again, it's the edit of what we see versus what they see on the island. Obviously, it's not that obvious. So, hey, golf clap for Christian and Devins apparently keeping this enough under the radar where they got that kind of information. So,
well, it's also what's her play, right? Like she doesn't have
that's true too.
She's got to just throw whatever she can at the wall. Right, it was a good attempt. She, but yeah, Christian wasn't going for it. I mean, I think she had to have. If she didn't know, then she shouldn't have been out there. But she should have known how close they were. Yeah. But still, you can kind of, it's everyone's at the end of the day. Everyone out there is against everyone. It's just,
of course,
if it's the right time for that person, and it's not the right time for Christian to go after Rick Devins,
All right, fair enough. I'm going to give it a 5, and that's only because Genevieve played it well and played her shot in the dark. But what I hate, Brett, and I want to get to the root of this with you and ask you, are there any other options? Boy Green and I were talking a little bit off air before we started the show, in the 5 minutes we had between the show and by the time we get up on the air for our show. And it was this, and this, and this, I've talked about this before in prior seasons, so this is not the first time this has come up. It really irks me to the core. When I'm invested in this show as I am, we've watched every season, we're invested. Now we're doing a post-game show. I'm invested, and I respect you people. I respect you, Brett, and I respect anybody that's gone out to that island and does what you have to do, surviving in that crazy conditions, the lack of food, but more importantly, in playing a social game, in building relationships, in doing things that enable you to stay in it and have a chance, hopefully by the end, to win $1 million. And I can't stand when you're out there earning it, and then just because, we need to make 3 eliminations tonight, we're just going to randomly draw tribes, all right? And however the numbers fall, they fall. And all that work that you did is just thrown out the window because it's pretty hard to cover in a day or less than a day before you go to a tribal council. I mean, those that have been together are going to stick together, generally speaking. You can get one of those situations like we did in that second tribal where Jonathan is on the fence because he doesn't trust Camilla all that much, and rightly so. She duped him, when they played together. I mean, there's some reasons and there's some baggage there that allow Jonathan to be in the middle there. But if he wasn't, and it was just a loyal thing from their season or a loyal thing from a prior tribe earlier in the game, then, he wouldn't have moved and it would have been an easy vote. It would have been bing, bang, boom. But that was just kind of luck of the draw. But I just hate when, in this case, in the case of this tribal, right, it was just a disaster for Genevieve. She's just in a complete wrong place, wrong time. And so all of the work that she did wasn't going to matter. Hubicki and Devins were not going to be pulled apart. Okay, you had the immunity at play, so Dee wasn't going home. And that just left, and Aubrey's even got an idol that she could play. So she was just screwed, and it was just because, hey, that's randomly what happened. Is there another way to do this, Brett? I was talking to Paul about it before the show, and I said, I would rather the darn producers put these tribes together and make it more dramatic, but I guess with $1 million at stake, you can't do that. There'd be too much bias in terms of how the producers would script it. But do you see any other ways, or do you not mind? I know they've done it for years. It's not like this is the first time or even the second time, okay? It's been done dozens of times. But does it bother you like it bothers me? It just bugs me to the core as a viewer that this is the way sometimes things get decided on Survivor rather than on its merits. That's my argument.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And there, I'll tell you, there are times I do like a shakeup, and that would be when I see one tribe getting decimated.
Right,
it's
that happens.
One after another.
Sure.
It's like, all right, shake up the deck. Come on, it's not fair because now you're losing people that shouldn't be lost. That being said, I did not like how they did it tonight. It felt very forced. It felt like production kind of stepping in to try and not for nothing. Let's not forget they took 2 out and sent them to Exile Island so they couldn't be voted out. Which was, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think Rizzo probably had a good shot of going home with 3 people going home. Mm-hmm. And good on him for getting his butt to Exile Island thanks to Ozzy. But no, I don't like that. You took 2 people out who couldn't get voted out, and then it was like, it ruined 3 people's games who maybe shouldn't have had it.
And I know we'll get into the exile thing, but the worst part of that exile thing for me was that Ozzy didn't know why he was taking the other person. If he knew that this meant immunity for him and that person through these 3 eliminations. He doesn't take Rizzo, but he ends up taking Rizzo just because kind of for some fairly random reasons. I mean, he kind of explained his reasons a little bit, but, he just, he's the new guy. Nobody knows about him. I'll take him out there with me. Maybe I'm even going to have to fight him in some kind of battle or something. Probably was rattling in the back of his mind. I'll take this little weak kid anyway and get him the heck out of here. And instead, he gives him immunity. He gives him a gift, the gift of immunity. Now, we'll see what that turns out to be, because there's still, I'm sure, another layer to this thing, if and when they return, or how this is all going to work. Maybe there still is a battle to be had. We didn't see it in the coming attractions, but maybe it is. So there may be another wrinkle here. I recognize that. But by the same token, neither one of them, as you mentioned, goes to tribal here, and it kind of creates a little situation. Go ahead, BG. Jump in for a second.
Yeah, and just to say, I'll get to your complaint and explain one level that sort of has to happen. That's a Survivor thing. I could get to that in a second. What we thought was sort of random, right? Because Ozzy's initial reason was like, Rizzo, we don't really know him, and that's a chess piece off the board. I'm not going to piss anyone off taking Rizzo. Right. And then we hear on Exile Island, whoa, Suri gave this incredible vote of confidence for Rizzo, saying you got to play with him, and now they sort of secured that. So apparently there were additional reasons beyond that makes a little bit more sense, but of him not having the full knowledge of making that decision. Yeah, Bret knows this too, but for people out in the audience that don't, so Survivor employs what's called a, quote, fairness judge or fairness consultant. There's different names for it. It's essentially to make sure that the game elements, challenges, camp conditions, and everything of that nature are equitable for all players. So to your point, Lurch, when you said, we got to split them up in these 15 people, let's sort of split them up here 5-5-5 and see who's going where and what's all going to happen and break all that down. Why equitable. The producers... Yeah, equitable. Thank you.
Sounds so communist.
Yeah, right. Yes, yeah. There's another name for it. And, apparently if, we had it the way Lurch wanted, where they hand pick it, you would have to then research all these people's backgrounds and see if there's a bias that they hated or love this player. You get into some real sticky territory. It's easier just to do rocks, and it is random. And no matter what the combinations were, there's intrigue from a social perspective or game perspective or what have you. So they do employ these fairness people out there, apparently, that's supposed to make sure that everything is fair, because they're playing for $1 million and they don't want anything sleazy happening. So unfortunately, Lurch, I think for that reason, it has always been a part of the game. I think it will continue to be a part of the game in terms of these random things. And, they talked about it a lot on Survivor. There's a huge element of luck that can either benefit you or obviously hurt you when you're out there on the island. And that's been that way for a long time.
See, I could have stomached it a little better if, they just brought him into a merge of 17 people, all right, before all this mayhem happens. So then why not, then I would rather at least only break it into 2 tribes then, all right? And then you have an elimination, but you've got more people to play with potentially here. So the deck is not going to be stacked so badly against you like it is in a 5. All you need is 3. And if 2 or 3 of them are from the same place or the same season, it's kind of locked and loaded and you're kind of screwed, which we saw at least in one of these 3 tribals. With more people, there's more chances, more cracks, more opportunities. You see, people have more of a chance to scramble. And then you can still figure out if they were meant to eliminate 3, you could still do a 3-person elimination. Then have Rizzo and then have, Ozzy and whoever he brings to the island have a challenge, and that person just gets eliminated. Whoever loses the challenge is eliminated. You don't even have a vote. Like there's other ways to do it. I just didn't like the way they decided to do it and how the chips fell. To me, it took players out of the game that in some instances, I mean, I don't mind actually that Camilla went home at all. And I'm not all that heartbroken, even though I drafted her, that Genevieve went home. I don't disagree with a lot of what Bret has said about Genevieve. Should she be on a season of this nature, of this magnitude? I would totally agree with him. No, that there were way more worthy players. It does bug the heck out of me, and let's get to it now. The 3rd tribal council. All right, let's rate that one on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll go first, and I'll say that was an absolute 10. All right, for all the drama, all of the crying, all of the nostalgia.
Good crying too, and I hate crying, but I agree with you, Lurch, and I'm not trying to interrupt you. Great crying. I enjoyed that crying tonight. Go on, keep going.
Right. No, as a matter of fact, not only was that cry, I was crying. I mean, I don't cry during Survivor. I was like, oh my God, this is a real tearjerker to see 2 things going on there. Number one, Colby getting a chance to kind of say how much it meant to him. That was really moving and touching for a player of his magnitude who goes back as far as he does all the way to season 2 to say this was the best of them all. And yet he's been on it for such a short time because now in his 50s, he's in this reflective period of his life, which as someone who is Colby's age can understand that, and really, I think that touched a lot of people my age that see that and go, yeah, you're right. This is a reflective time in our life. This is a time where we look back at things, and it's so cool that he's able to appreciate it, that he's not going to harbor bad feelings about this. If anything, he's going to walk away saying, wow, what an honor and a privilege it was to play this game. The heartbreak for me is I want that guy to play longer, for all of those reasons and more. And the fact that he was out there playing on a bum foot too made it even more dramatic that he was trying to stick in this game, even though, he was going to have a tough time, obviously, going forward with challenges if that foot didn't get better sooner. I mean, him in that challenge tonight on those little tiny pegs and just trying to, when he fell, I was like, oh my goodness, like that was real, man. That guy was in serious pain. That he even stayed up there as long as he did was remarkable to me. So I was very moved by it. 10 out of 10 for me. Sounds like you're a 10 out of 10 on that one too, Brett.
Oh yeah, that was.
And that's Boy Green. You 10 out of 10 on that one too.
It's.
But
I mean, go ahead, Brett.
So wait a minute, but are we? So by numbering it, we're saying that we're happy with the outcome.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. I'm confused on the grading system.
I would say I loved the tribal council. I loved all that stuff.
But you hated the outcome.
So I'm giving it a 1. And the other thing is Suri had a great scene where she's like, Emily's like, oh, he's getting medevaced, and Suri's like, yeah, Colby's not getting medevaced. Like he just stood on that stupid thing as long as he possibly could with a bum foot. Like Colby was not quitting unless they pulled him from the game. He just wasn't. If he made it through that tribal, he would have stayed out there as long as he possibly can. And I love that Suri kind of notices that the young people just don't get it, and it's so true. And I really enjoyed that whole scene. And you guys know I don't like crying, but it was moving and it was nice. And I sat there saying to myself, what is going on here? Why is D in the driver's seat when D has won the game? Now, I like D. I liked her on her season, but she should not be on 50. She won the game, okay? And the fact that she's won the game, you're up against Suri, Colby, Coach, all people who've played for years. Colby since the second season.
Right.
He was a finalist in the second season of Survivor. He's dying to win this game. Yeah. Why would anyone vote with D on voting out Colby? Why is Suri doing? And I love Suri. Suri's my girl. I've met her many times. We've played together. And she was great tonight. And that was I loved her. Everything that she said. So many things she did tonight I loved. What the heck is she doing? D should have been the vote. D needs to go.
She has immunity.
Suri. Oh, that's right too. Yeah,
she had immunity tonight. Couldn't vote.
I forgot we had three immunity.
Yeah, that's true.
Immunity. She.
But either way, they should
her
name
probably.
She should have taken out Emily. She should have taken out her number 1.
Right.
Why are we letting Suri? Like you have to think. Why would she go with the Why would she go with the winner and what she wants? It annoyed me.
Yeah, Saria's taken an interesting path here, and she is definitely not at this point with the old schoolers. She is pairing up with the new schoolers, right? With Rizzo, we already know she's tight with him. I mean, she's tight with a bunch of these new schoolers. So I don't think unless Saria at some point does a massive flip here, I don't think she's going to flip because she had that chance. Certainly tonight, it would have had to be Emily, and that's what I was hoping for.
Taking her out.
It never even seemed to get close. Coach, she wasn't even on the radar. It looks like.
Coach and Suri could have taken out Emily, and nobody would have been none the wiser. It would have been a blindside. So it's too bad.
Yeah. So long story short, again, I'm the same with Brett. I'm confused on the grading system because it was dramatic, and if I didn't have any skin in the game and I'm just watching it, I'd feel one way. But the result of knowing it was Colby or Dragon Slayer, 2 guys are in the room and there's a knife and only one of them's walking out was devastating and excruciating. And that was the final of the 3. Smart on Survivor because that was the most drama. So I understood, and it had me on the edge of my seat the entire episode. But it was just to hear Colby sort of talk about himself, almost like his spirit was there talking about himself, where he talked about how on season 2, we all know he brings, who is that, Tina, and you get to the end and she beats him, and everyone viewed Colby at the time like, the American cowboy, and he was America. He was everything. He was supposed to win that season. And when he didn't, well, when he comes back, he's going to win. And then he didn't live up to the billing of whether it's his fault or not, or how he was portrayed. He's like, damn, I didn't live up to it then. I certainly didn't live up to it to the third whack around. And then to get this opportunity now, to hear him talk about it, to hear him get emotional, it was a tearjerker. Again, I grew up watching this guy on my television. So to see him now and talking the way that he did, that this was the most meaningful of all of it, and him tearing up, I was just, it hit me right in the chops. And again, it sort of felt like you got to a certain point, you're like, damn, it's going to be Colby. And man, that was tough. I will just say, like, and I get it, it's part of the game, but Emily and Dee, we can eliminate Coach, and then he's going to get medically evac. Like, yeah, high five. And I'm like, you sick friggin' people, what the hell? These people have been waiting their entire lives. They're like, oh yeah, nice, he's gonna get medically disqualified, this is gonna be sweet. I just thought that was disgusting. Again, I get it's part of the game and you have to remove that part of it, I suppose, but that part destroyed me early in the episode, because then you just knew that they had the control. Sari was bending the knee to Dee, Emily was with Dee, and I'm like, damn, it's definitely gonna be Colby or Coach. And that was painful.
I wrote 2 things down during that tribal council. All right. I wrote, after tonight, Colby is my all-time favorite player in caps, period.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Just really, really was moved by what he had to say and how he said it. Sure. And I love the loyal players. I definitely am an old schooler. I lean that way. So that speech tonight kind of cemented it for me. And then the other thing I wrote down is, I won't lie, Emily really annoys me in caps. Really annoys me. Please send that woman home. She really annoys me. I don't know.
And she's not playing the best. She's not playing the best.
Definitely not. No.
She's not playing the best game. And she's been all over the map. She's flipping and flopping. She's telling everyone what. So yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I think this was a huge mistake. I'm really kind of bummed out. I don't I mean, it is what it is. I will say, I agree with you guys. Oh, great. It was a great tribal. That was my favorite tribal. So I give it a 10 for all the stuff that was in, but for the result, I give it a 1. And I will say that if you've ever met Tina Wesson, you'll understand why she won season 2, which was the season that got me hooked on Survivor. And I started trying out for season 3, but Tina Wesson's fantastic. But I loved Colby in that first season. And, listen, I'm just glad that we saw him, but I wish we could have seen him a little longer.
And as I said at the end, right, this is obvious, if it wasn't obvious already, but everyone was saying this is obviously Colby's last time ever on Survivor. So, I tried to savor every moment he was out there. And I love that he was having fun. He said that in confessionals, man, I'm just having fun out there. And he said it. He was one of the people on Marooning at the very beginning that Jeff pointed out. He just talked about like embracing the season. He had a lot of energy, and that to me is really cool. So again, the last time seeing Colby is tough. I do want to highlight this just because we have another commenter here, Sami Gamer, with a couple of comments saying, was Colby the move, though? I feel Coach is definitely more set moving forward with leading the honor and integrity group, in my opinion. And he said also, or he or she said, yep, exactly. Cerise with the news course, and Ozzy. She does obviously have that relationship with the old era. What do you guys make of that? That Coach should have been the play, according
I thought he was
to
the play
Sami.
too. If they would get down to the 2 of them, to me, the smarter move tonight would have been to take Coach out, because I just think ultimately, as popular as Colby is, I don't know that he's as much of a threat down the line, and also dealing with the foot is going to slow him down a little bit too, which could lose him some brownie points as well. I thought the move tonight, if you're looking to take out the bigger threat, I think it should have been Coach tonight, but it is.
They're all overlooking Coach. Let me just say that the way they talked about him so dismissively, I'm like, okay, if that's how you feel, and they're like, he's clearly not the head of any of these. Like, I don't know. From my perspective in the seat, they have all the information, I'm sure, on the island, but I feel like they're totally overlooking Coach. But
well, as the coming attraction showed, perhaps we're gonna find out what kind of clout Coach has, because there was some fire in the coming attractions for sure. Go ahead, Brett.
Yeah, Coach is getting out of the swords. Who doesn't love a nice samurai quote at Tribal Council. I just think he's great, and I'm so glad he's there. I hated to see Colby go because I'm a huge Colby fan, but I think for me, that would have stung even harder. I think seeing
for
Coach
sure.
go. And
Coach is so entertaining.
Yeah, man, it just brings so much to it, and I'm dying to see what comes. It looks like he's getting fired up in the next episode. I'm excited for that, and we'll see what happens.
Which,
let me
by
ask
the
this,
way,
Brett, as an insider for a minute on this Emily thing before we move on to something else, and that's this. All right. So I said, I wrote down, I won't lie, Emily really annoys me, and I've told you guys, I don't have a desire to be on the show. I'd be a lousy player, and I know it. And part of that is this, okay, and I want your perspective on this, Brett. Because I don't know, maybe just my New York roots. I grew up in Queens. I'm a native New Yorker, New York City guy. Like, I don't know. The way I am as a human being, you can't change who you are at the core. All right. And the way I am as a human being is when I come across people in life who they do it a different way. They do it their way. All right. I just go, yeah, we won't be buds. We won't be friends. Like, fine, I guess we got to coexist in this world, but don't ask me for any favors. Like don't give me the smiley face in the hallway. Hey, Jim, how are you? Like, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. That's just the way I wear it on my sleeve. You generally will know with me where you stand. Like I wear it on my sleeve. I don't like, hey, yo, it's so nice to see you. And then like, oh, what a jerk.
You don't play nice. I got you.
It's not that I'm nasty. But I will give you, dare I say, the cold shoulder if I just think like, you just keep walking.
We're not going to waste breath. No small talk there.
That silly beat. I'm not going down that silly beat, and I'm not even going to play with you in that sandbox. That's just as I am as a person. Do you find that to be the case? You were on the island for a long time, Brett. Okay, you built relationships with a lot of different people, and I know there are people from that season that you love, and I'm sure ultimately you love them all. But you know what I mean? Were there people? You don't have to name names here. But were there people where you felt that way? And do you have to hide that? Are you the type of person that can hide that? I mean, give me a little sense of how you deal with that conflict in your mind, if indeed it exists in your mind. I know it would exist on mine if I was out there. Would it exist in your mind?
Yeah, you'd fit in Boston very well.
You're absolutely right. I love Boston.
So I can hide it. There definitely were people that I didn't jive with out there, but I can hide it. And I think that's very important for this game. And look, I do legitimately love everyone I was out there with. But when you're living with people on an island, and you can't really escape them, they're gonna get on your nerves. And you really have to be able to, and I find that the older players have a much easier time at this. You have to be able to reel it in. You have to stay calm. You have to kind of not let your feelings known. Now, every now and then you have a bad day, and those feelings may slip out, or something may slip out that tips somebody off. So you got to be careful. But you do, the Russell Hansons are few and far between out there that let you know exactly where they're coming from. They're just few and far between because you really got to kind of. That's why I think Jonathan did a great job tonight, right? You didn't know. I did not know deep down who he was voting for by watching his eyes and his facial expressions, So until Tribal kind of
he played the middle ground very, very well. Made both sides feel like, yeah, I am with you. I'm with you. And then, I'm with you. I'm with you. Like he's not with both of them. Which one's he really with? I don't know.
But there's plenty of people that can't do it, Lurch. There's plenty of people that are like,
I know.
Say, I can't do it. And I mean, it just depends. I just think it's very important to try and make everyone think that you're on their side,
Yeah. See, I'd be drawing battle lines too early. That's why I'd stink in the game. I'd just be drawing battle lines too early. Like, I hate that guy. Don't you hate him? Don't you hate that guy? Let's get him out. Let's get him out. I'd be like, doing all the wrong things. I'd be a mess out there. A mess. Go ahead, BJ.
Well, yeah, we've got a couple hundred people in the room. It's a good reminder. Like the video, hit subscribe. Again, it's Manchild, it's Boy Green, and former Survivor Castaway Bret LaBelle every single week. Even on an episode like this, which is a special 2-hour episode, and then an extra
20 minutes for the president
of shorts that was sprinkled in there.
3 immunities. That's annoying. That was annoying. 3 immunities. Come on.
You don't want to know something else that's annoying is I imagine.
You knew it was coming, Brett, right? Come on. Couldn't they at least have taken out Dragon Slayer so he'd get an X next to his name?
So,
Instead, you get the X next to Colby.
I'm in trouble because I don't think Rizzo's going. I think Rizzo's going soon.
So let's give an update for the people that are.
Look what I got left.
That's tough.
Joe's
I don't know.
not showing any promise.
I think Christian might be
giving he's too much
getting a hell of an edit. This could be Lurch. I'm going to say it. This could be your season.
Really?
Because Christian is getting every week. He's getting a lot of airtime. So
this
could be your year.
It's just the prelude to him getting eliminated next week. Is what that is.
That's
we
probably
got to
true.
get him in before he gets eliminated. I'm not. No, you're not pulling that over my head. No way.
And Joe's hanging in there too, but.
Yeah, he's hanging in there. So for people that don't know, they're coming in here, and this is like inside Survivor here. This was our Survivor fantasy draft before, at the beginning of the season. Manchild's fantasy draft is below him. Bret LaBelle's fantasy draft is below him. Boy Green is below him. The red out ones mean they've already been eliminated. Now you'll notice under the Boy Green one, they're all the same color. That's because none of my people have been eliminated yet. 50% of the Manchild tribe gone. 50% of the Bret LaBelle tribe gone. Genevieve gone. Mike White gone for Manchild. Colby and Charlie. Anyone with a C letter first name is out for Bret LaBelle there, unfortunately. So he's left with Ozzy, Rizzo, Christian, Joe.
Settle down. Now let me just say, D should be gone. There's no reason why.
Yeah, she's great.
D should still be here. I mean, this is ridiculous. Who is like? It's ridiculous that they would let a winner. All of these great players who have been trying to win this game forever. They're gonna let a winner win. They're crazy. They're out of their minds.
So, any
game, in all honesty, especially considering being
the only winners that should have played, and they should have put them both on.
All right.
Tony.
Sure.
Anyone who's won twice.
Oh, so that would be Sandra and Tony.
Sandra, yeah. So Sandra and Tony should have played to see who could, maybe come up with a third win. Okay. But I don't see why any other winner was cast on this. 50.
So before we move on, we got a lot of different fans in the chat, so appreciate it. Keep commenting. We'll bring up your comments here on the show. But any rose petals? We'll start off with you, Manchild. Anything you want to throw over here at my perfect team? Batting 1,000 at this point.
No,
Some respect you want to put on my name?
No, it takes one person to win, so you can have all those non-X's over there. But when it comes down to it, if Brett's got one person left and I've got one person left, and that's the person who wins, it really doesn't matter, BG. That's why you're taking 4 players. But no, clearly you're in a better shape than either one of the two of us. And even the players that you have on your team have been, generally speaking, looking pretty good. And Dee's getting a very good edit. She's been looking good. Sari has been looking good, and she's got some pretty strong alliances. Devins is, at this point, well-aligned. We'll see once he comes into this big group now how that all plays. But he's in this nice little group, neat little group. He ends up with Christian, which ends up being that beautiful little pairing to not even have him on the radar. He should be on more radars. And I don't know about Dragon Slayer. I mean, tonight was a rough one. He could have gone home tonight. And obviously, we saw in the coming attractions, Dragon Slayer is getting really PO'd. And I don't know if he's going to be able to rally up the numbers here, even if he is ticked off, to keep himself alive. So if he does declare war, which it looks like he's going to do, is he going to survive the war? Does he have the horses? I mean, he just lost Colby, who was clearly in his corner.
Of course.
Joe's cowering in the corner over there, even though he's on my team. So I don't know. I'm a little worried about Dragon Slayer. But you've got pretty good teams. But Ozzy, I would say, is in terrific shape. And I know
he's got a lot of advantages.
Brett keeps saying Rizzo's in trouble, but I'm telling you, Rizzo is like the cat with 9 lives.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's not forget he's got an idol. Let's not forget that he keeps finding ways to get aligned with these people. How the heck is he now aligned with both Sari and Ozzy, 2 old schoolers? Right?
Yeah.
And I see him down the road, if they keep dragging him along and sticking with him, I see him totally backstabbing them. And neither one of them, particularly Ozzy, maybe Sari might, she's pretty smart, but Ozzy will never see it coming, okay? Because he's just not a smart strategic player. So that's where I stand. Brett?
Lurch, I appreciate that, by the way. Thank you. Please, stop.
Thank you. I think he's... Lurch, he's titillated again tonight.
I know he is.
I am quite titillated. I am phenomenally titillated. Yeah.
I'll say this right now.
All right.
Rizzo's also on a fresh, and freshly continued pursuit right now, right? Mm-hmm. He just come off 2 weeks off of his season where he did really well. It's fresh in his mind, where a lot of these people haven't played in years. He's in the game. He's been in the game for months now. So you're right. There is a chance that Rizzo is going to go very far in this game. I have to hope now that I only have 2 people. But he does play. He is kind of not careful. Let's put it that way. He plays very hard, and I think with this crew that's out there, I don't think they're going to entertain it very long. So we'll see.
Let's highlight some comments here. Cali representing, so they're at a much more reasonable time than 11:10 at night. So, Cali, thank you for joining us this evening. Yeah, very nice. I appreciate that. Derek the Cops,
8:00 at night.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, real reasonable for them. Brett. So this will be a question beyond the question too. But Derek the Cop is asking: Is Coach as kooky outside the game as he is in the game? How many times have you met Coach? Do you have enough of a feeling to answer something like this?
Yeah, I have not met Coach in person. I have texted with Coach many times, and he seems completely normal when you text him. Now, I'm dying to meet him in person. I first of all, I'm a huge fan.
Sure.
And secondly, I think I'm dying to see if what the true coach is. But I'll tell you, he's very well liked in the Survivor community. When you talk to people that hang out with Coach, they really like him, and so I'm dying to meet him. I almost met him at there was a Robert's podcast event out of Reno. I thought it was gonna be him, but I think COVID hit and everything got canceled.
So, well, let's bring up this one, too, from Derek the Cop. It seemed odd, in his opinion, that Cerise saved Coach being aligned with Ozzy, who doesn't like Coach. So that speaks something else to Dragon Slayer, too. That I'm pretty sure, and again, thankful for me because of my fantasy team, that if Cerise doesn't influence D, that based on the edit, Coach was the one that was going home, not Colby. And Cerise protected Coach when those attacks came. That's fascinating that she would, considering her alliance with Ozzy. So, again, maybe not only is Coach liked in the overall community, apparently he seems very well liked for the most part out on the island.
Yeah, I mean, well, especially early in the game, right? he's not going to – I mean, he plays that loyal game that he's proud of. So, he's going to be with you if you're with him. So, you wouldn't get rid of him right away,
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's very interesting. I was really bummed out to see Colby go, but I don't want to see any of the old schoolers go right now.
Me either.
Making this show for me. So,
and randomly here, I just see. I know you don't agree with this, Brett, but Lofi Whisperer says Genevieve so robbed.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for backing that up.
For Manchild.
Put that up and leave that up for a little while. All right.
Okay.
Rob. If it's not on your board, Green, she's not robbed, right? It's not robbed. No.
Yeah.
I like Genevieve.
Robbed. Absolutely. Thank you.
I have nothing against Genevieve. I just don't.
Just to have a little support out there.
I'm indifferent to it,
All right, let's go back to the beginning of the episode here for a second. So the merge happens. It's the largest merge in history here with 17 people. Lurch hinted at this at the beginning. We knew that something weird had to happen. There's 26 days. There's 24 castaways. And we've already seen a medical evac, so that's a surprise you can't anticipate. But we knew something had to happen because you can't get rid of people at the normal rate you would for lesser castaways. The math doesn't math. So you had to do something different, and they choose in this Blood Moon twist that 3 go home on a single night, which is also the most ever. What do you make of the biggest merge ever? 17 people all on one beach. Now, it didn't last very long. They ended up doing a challenge split, and they're now going to come back with, what's the math on that, 14. So 14 will be there. But 17 people
all by the way, a jury of 11, so now that's determined.
Correct, right, obviously. Yeah, the 3 people that made it tonight did not make it. So we could talk about that element, too. Obviously, it's in. But what do you think? 17 people on one beach.
So when we merged, it's a lot of people. And we did not have 17, obviously, but we had a lot of people. It's hard to find spots to sleep. There's a lot of talking. You don't know. It's hard to figure out who's going where to get your numbers straight. It's concerning, and you just want to kind of just say, all right, I just want to get through the next couple of votes and then whittle this down a little bit, and then we'll see where we're at, and hopefully nobody I'm working with is going to go home. And because it is tough. It's a lot of people to talk to. It's a lot of people to keep track of. So
let's go. Unless I get my numbers wrong, there's all of the idols have been outed now, right? Because as far as I know, all right, there are 3 idols in play, and all 3 were outed. As a matter of fact, as soon as the 17 got together on the beach, it was like total idol mayhem. Oh, did you know so-and-so has the boomerang? Oh, yeah, I sent you the boomerang. Oh, no, so-and-so said. The only secret in the whole thing is that Genevieve wasn't letting them know about one of the boomerangs she sent out, all right, that it was hers in hopes that, Rizzo would have got bounced. So I just think it was, it was chaos, 17 people, and it was total chaos. And secrets were just flying all over the place, which
Bret
surprised me a little bit, considering this is supposed to be a group of veteran players. Loose
most
lips,
part,
I wrote
right.
it down. Loose lips sink ships. What the heck is going on here? Everybody's got loose lips. I thought this was season 50 where people could keep a damn secret. Nobody could keep a secret about anything, at least when they were 17 strong. I thought that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I would have liked to. I was really hoping to see that Genevieve vote out Rizzo. No, I didn't want to see Rizzo go because he's on my
Right.
team, but
Yeah.
Vote out Rizzo and get the boomerang back.
Without him knowing, right?
I wanted to see that work, but we didn't get that opportunity.
Which, by the way, we could just go around. This is real quick. Now that Genevieve's dead, in the game, and the boomerang happens, does the boomerang die? So, if Rizzo gets voted out, does it has no one to go to, so it's just dead? I assume.
I would think so.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
interesting. Let's talk about the exile thing that we could go around the room on here. So again, the 17 go crazy. Hey, there's an advantage of the beach. First come, first serve, and they all go crazy. Rizzo has an interesting strategy of you know what? I'm probably not even going to find this, so I'm just going to sort of lethargically walk around and
he walks right past it.
Yeah, right. Which is, and it's sort of funny that Ozzy ends up putting it, and he chooses Rizzo, the guy that walked blatantly past it and missed it, but he ends up being the guy. And to Lurch's point earlier, so Ozzy finds it, and Ozzy jokes. I don't know if you guys remember it, but he found this thing, and he says, "Oh man, it's an advantage. I hope it doesn't send me to Exile Island or something." And then opens it, goes, "Oh my god, I'm going to Exile Island."
Yeah, that was funny.
That was so brutal. But they don't tell him. They say, "Hey, you could pick someone else in the tribe. They have no choice in the matter, and you guys are just removed to Exile Island." Now, they sort of speculated, does this mean we get to miss whatever the vote's going to be, or what does it look like? Obviously, he has no idea with the blood moon and the 3 people, how intense that's going to be.
So they don't know that 3 people went home, right?
They do not, right? So Ozzy and Rizzo are going to show up what the? They thought
that's cool.
They must have, and that's what I think. So, I know Lurch earlier was I don't like that Ozzy blindly had to pick someone without the information. I think all the time on Survivor, you have to make decisions not having all the information. So I kind of liked that Ozzy didn't know, and because if he did know, it's a more straight decision. I like that he has to sort of conflict. I don't know what this means, so I have to sort of make this blindly, and there's ripple effects to whatever decision I make. So I was kind of cool with him not having that information, and thus he and Rizzo are going to show up what the hell? Where did 3 people go? What just happened? I think there's some good chaos there.
Boy Green agrees with production. He's a company man. He likes. He's on the side of CBS. No, I kind of agree. I honestly, I'm not. You guys know I don't love the islands.
Right.
Tonight didn't bother me. I don't know why. Maybe now because Ozzy and Rizzo were both spared, who are on my team.
Sure.
But I don't know. I didn't hate it. I just wish Ozzy had made a better, if Ozzy could stop and think for a minute,
right?
You really would want to bring your closest ally that you don't want to lose.
Definitely, right.
When you have 3 people, that went home. So, but whatever. I didn't hate it. But I definitely see Lurch's side of it where it's, that little mix up sealed 3 people's fate that maybe wouldn't have gone home tonight. So,
yeah. And where are we going to stop this? So Ozzy, but when this is all about to break up, you guys get the notes, and Bret, you've been a part of a bunch of these where the boat rolls up, says, "Hey, pack your bleep. Your guys are all about to merge, drop your buffs." And Ozzy gives a quick hug to Emily on the side, says, "Hey, by the way, I just want to throw this out there. I've got 9." She's like, "Oh my God, thanks for the information." Why do people keep giving information to Emily specifically? I know Lurch brought it up for everybody in general because everyone's being blabbermouth, but specifically, why Emily? Wouldn't her track record come up that she is literally blathering to everybody? When is that going to stop? I mean, Ozzy, good Lord. What the hell?
I know.
Ozzy has
you want to be Ralph Cramden. You're a blabbermouth. What? I don't understand why they tell everyone everything. There's definitely times it's important. You want to get somebody on your side.
Sure.
But you're not telling Emily who's she cannot stop talking. You have to know that now. We're into, I don't know, what day 60. What day is it now?
Oh yeah, I know.
Everyone knows about Emily. Everyone knows that she's telling everyone everything. So it's a mistake,
Ozzy finds himself at the moment in a good position in this game because of the alliance that now has been coming together around him. But he has not played well. in all honesty. He has
No.
not played well.
Lazy.
He has been a strategic nightmare. He is not, working the ropes the way he should, but he has fallen into some good situations here with some players that maybe you wouldn't have even expected him to be with us, particularly Emily. And yet here he lies. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this continues to play for Ozzy. But at the moment, he's actually in a pretty good position, especially considering how lousy he's played. In my opinion, he's played a lousy game, but finds himself in a good spot. So
he's hanging in there, and he seems to be learning as he goes too.
Brett, we just
doing wrong and stuff.
Just in general, we love having your opinions on things because you just have opinions. But another cool part of it is that you were on the island, so you can, sort of share your insights on this. Tonight, the blood moon element, and Survivor makes it even more juicy, is that these 3 people go home, and that's devastating. We've never seen 3 people go home in a single night. But like, these 3 people are not going to make jury, and thus their magical carpet ride is over. And the people that make jury get to continue to be a part of the game. They're on television each week. They obviously will participate in the final tribal council. They decide who gets to win the game. Brett, how much is that actually talked about on the island? As long as you guys are out there, that when you have time in camp, you're like, man, I really want to make jury. We hear fans sort of talk about that all the time. But legitimately, how big of a conversation is that? Because that felt like an emotional part of the element. I don't know. I don't want to speak for Colby. I don't know Colby, outside of watching him on television. I'm not sure how important it was for him to have a say and who ends up winning this thing. But that seemed like another emotional element. Why they're all crying. They're like, damn, Colby is like, it's over. Like, his journey is done outside of whatever they do for the finale, which I hope was voted on to have the beautiful finale in LA or New York, wherever they're going to have it. And Brett can go party it up out there. I hope that's what they decided to do. So we'll see Colby on that. But how much is that a conversation, Brett, that you guys in camp are saying, man, we want to make jury? How important is that? How real is that?
I mean, it's not really talked about. It's definitely in your mind. You're like, all right, I got to get far enough that I may, but you don't talk about it because production is not like, you're not there to make the jury. You're there to win the game.
Of course.
And you need to keep your mind focused on, I'm here to win the whole thing. And so for me, I don't know. But once you get past that milestone, I'd call it a Survivor milestone. When you get past the you're like, okay, I'm past the jury. Keep moving. We're doing good. We're doing good. So yes, it's definitely discussed, but nobody's like, I just want to make the merge. Like that is not said because people are like, oh, is that it? Well, we'll vote you out next then. So it's not really talked about, but these milestones come up. The family visit before they ruined that was a milestone, and it's like, wow, I made the family visit. Like, it's you definitely those things do go through your head, and you kind of know where you're at in the game that way. So
yeah.
Let me ask you about this relationship in the game. I think it's been a very interesting one. It's gotten a lot of the edit. You mentioned how good an edit Christian has gotten. His interesting relationship with Ozzy. There have been portrayals. Remember them walking out of that tribal a couple of weeks ago, like, let me explain.
I'll fill you in.
Get
lost.
From me,
right. Yeah.
Little turd you. So give me the thoughts on that. How is this thing going to evolve? It looks like new trust was born here. He gave him the shot in the dark to get his trust. It looks like Ozzy's giving him back a little now. Mentions to him about the idol. There's a little sharing going on here. I think Ozzy's been a bit of a blabbermouth, which is why I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think Ozzy
thoughts on that. How that thing plays out.
Yeah, I don't think Ozzy should have told him.
No,
I don't. I think Christian's playing a very good game. I do. I think he's very smart. I think he's going to do very well here. If I was out there and he was doing, when he does those, oh, you do, like, I would be like, this guy's full of shit. I don't believe a word that he's saying. I don't believe that he's excited for
over dramatic.
Yeah, I just feel like I that's me. Now, that could, if you know Christian, that's kind of just how he is. Mm-hmm. So I have to keep reminding myself. I've talked with this man, a couple times, and I'm like, no, he's being legit. Like, he's not faking that. That's the way he is. But me, I would be like, I'm not so sure I totally trust what's going on here. Like, I don't, that interaction seems a little fake to me, but knowing Christian, I don't think it is. But I don't think Ozzy should have told him. I do not. I think Ozzy had the upper hand on that. He got, technically they were done when he's like, all right, listen, I'll make it up because, he left Ozzy out of the vote.
Sure.
So Christian comes back and says, all right, listen, I screwed up. I left you out of the vote. Here's this. Now it's like Ozzy's making up for that. Like, no, just he should have just shut his mouth and move forward because he would have been good with Christian. Christian would have worked with him. You know?
Right. That was paid. He didn't need to go on any further. Go ahead, Boygreen.
And no, it's just on this relationship thing. Like, okay, so Genevieve and Aubrey weirdly get off on the wrong foot to me, which I think was just a random miscommunication. All of a sudden, we're sworn blood enemies. Screw you, lady. I'm out on you. And I'm like, what the? It seemed like so mundane of a reason that they even fought in the first place. But, you know, whatever the case may be. And they're mortal enemies. They couldn't get over that first interaction. Now we go to what Lurch just said. Ozzy versus Christian, they have very serious beef that occurs where like it wasn't a mistaken conversation. Christian clearly blindsided Ozzy on a vote and then said, yeah, buddy, don't worry, I'll fill you in like he's a mafia boss. And I was just like, screw you, buddy. But they're able to build back that trust with the shot in the dark exchange, the Ozzy information about the idol, and they were able to fix that. How do those two things coexist, Brett? How can like Genevieve and Aubrey get off on the wrong foot and now they hate each other for the rest of the game? They're never working together, and they made that very obvious. Then we have this Christian Ozzy thing where they had very legitimate beef, but they totally seemingly got over it, and now they can work together.
Yeah, I mean, it's just every individual is a little different. You know, I would always say that Genevieve and the Aubrey, that shouldn't happen. You should never have not that early in the game. You should
get that unhinged about it.
No,
it seems silly.
Man.
I don't know.
You can't have that. You can't have that because look at it. Hurt Genevieve's game. It definitely hurt her game. That rift, like they could not work together. And if you can't work with someone, you get in a position where you don't have a lot of options now, you know, and that's what she found. And then she went home.
An interesting gesture by Genevieve. We didn't get to mention this. Genevieve gives her the red coat, the famous red coat
to Aubrey.
You like that? You like that? She gives it to Aubrey. Aubrey was like, what?
It shows Genevieve.
Give it to me. Yeah, go ahead.
That was classy, right? Because Genevieve's like, all right, listen. Yes, you annoyed me, but we were playing a game. Here's the jacket. It's water under the bridge. You won. See you later.
And a very nice jacket, by the way, which Aubrey also commented. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. You could have it. That's very nice.
What kind of jacket was it, Boygreen?
I don't know. I've just seen it before. It seemed like very what's it? Cashmere? Some nice cashmere.
Cashmere.
A little Seinfeld action.
Cashmere sweater. Thank you.
Do you guys, okay, this is a quick thing, but do you guys like this or not? So, you know, they've done it every once in a while for the first couple of episodes here, where Devins does a Survivor report, and he's like, da-da-da-da, breaking news from the Survivor news desk. Here's what's happening, and this is coming up, and we'll keep you posted. And they've used it sort of like outros to breaks and come back and do a thing. Yes. I think it's cute. I think it's funny. I think it's ha cool. There are people that hate the bleep out of it on social media. Like, he is super annoying. That's so cheesy. Please stop. And they like want him out of the game. And I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, come on, guys. Can't we like, you know, sort of be lax a little here? Not everything has to be super serious. I think it's fine. And it's sort of his whole thing. And I love that, like, he's wearing a tie out there. Like, it's almost like he's a news anchor that got fired unceremoniously. And now he's just continuing to live his life. And he's all dirty and messed up because he's on the island. I love it. But again, a lot of people hate it on the island. So again, quick thing, but I just didn't know if you guys enjoyed these like Survivor reports we keep getting from Devins every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think he was doing that in his first season, but he was much better at it because he was still a newsman. Right. He's definitely a little rusty. He's not as good at it anymore. He's out of practice.
It's all about reps. I know. I was in the biz too. It's about reps.
True. Yeah. Right. So, Lurch, you should have a special answer on this in a second. I'm curious to hear your response.
Yeah, I like it, but I understand why people are annoyed by it because he needs practice. But I think it's Devins. He was a news guy. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's his cup of coffee. Okay, Lurch.
Making him do it. The producers are saying, "Oh, do you?"
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, they're feeding it to it. But okay, Lurch. Okay, this is your business. You're seeing your fellow professional out there, or former professional, as Brett says. Do you like it? Hate it? What?
It's cheesy for sure, but I'm not spitting venom like those on the internet who just love to spit venom just because they can, or they just want to be haters all the time, or they want to find something wrong with everybody, that isn't themselves or their group of friends. So, no, I mean, it's cheesy, but it's not bugging me all that much. It's just Devins being Devins, I suppose. So, I'd be fine without it. but I'm fine with it. So I would say I'm like right down the middle, lukewarm, Boy Green. I'm just
okay.
I'm right at 5 on a scale of 10.
Here's another quick thing. Maybe this is Dragon Slayer being Dragon Slayer here, but they're out at camp, and Jonathan walks over as he's on the hammock, and he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoa, Jonathan, you got a freaking 8-pack, man! And Jonathan's just like, yeah, thanks, man. And Dragon Slayer's like, man, I wanted a body like that when I first played. That's what I wanted. It just didn't happen. So any envy out there, Bret? Is there something like someone had hair or tattoos or something that you saw as a former Survivor guy and you're like, yeah, I wanted some of that action. I wanted that sort of response on the island.
Let's see, tattoos. No. Well, okay. Chris Hammond's had a tramp stamp on his back.
Does he really?
But
God, he doesn't. Does
respect.
He? Oh yeah, he does.
Goodness.
It's his birthday today too, so I'm glad I got.
Oh, happy birthday! Nice.
Happy birthday.
Well,
no, no, there's nobody that I mean, everyone. People always say, "Oh my God, Ken was so hot." Yeah, Ken was annoying though. Like, and I love Ken. Ken's my buddy, but he would lecture you out there. He was tough to deal with. So, but no, there's nobody I wished I was. No,
okay.
That was weird. I thought that was that scene.
I enjoyed that.
Oh, goodness gracious!
He's talk funny though. I mean, this is what he does. He brings great TV.
Okay, here's another one. I'm going to be honest. I used to love when Survivor did this, and I had no problems with it. It's speaking of cheesy. This is cheesy and everything else. Applebee's being the shameless sponsor, to me, I used to love those things when they would do like a Lowe's sponsorship and then, hey, we'll come in and build your camp. We'll give you a porta potty and all this other crap from yesterday, or Sprite. Here's our Coke or whatever. I don't know. I think it's cheesy. It's goofy. The people all get soda or food or whatever great thing is there. I didn't care. I don't care about that at all. I think you go to watch it. I just went to the movies earlier today. You suspend disbelief before you go into the theater, and whatever happens, you're just like, ooh, this is goofy. This is fun. This is whatever. So like the Applebee's thing, to me, it hasn't happened a lot in the last 10 years or something since they've stopped a lot of these. But to me, I really enjoy, when they do the shameless sponsor and they're on there and it turns into a whole bit and Jeff's going, the creamy hot skillet and the butter and the, I'm like, all right, man, I'm all for it. Boys, are you for the sponsors or you don't like those? Is that too gimmicky?
No, I mean, it's Applebee's is horrible. Applebee's is horrible. The food's horrible. Nobody goes there. The only time people go there now is to charge their electric car because they have all these. Every Applebee's has like 15
chargers in the parking lot.
They do, but I never noticed.
Go up there, they hook up, and then they go in and get an appetizer because the rest of the food sucks so bad.
Oh, I love the appetizers. I go there all the time. Sometimes don't even get a meal. I get 4 or 5 apps, pretzels.
Right, and I'm not like a food snob. I'm not. Applebee's is horrible.
Okay, wow.
It looked good on television, I'll tell you.
It did. Delicious. I guess anything looks good when you're stuck on an island for a while.
It was made by Fijians. It wasn't made by.
I was just about to. That was going to be another question, but I didn't know if you could answer it, Brett. So I wasn't going to bring it up. But by the blind eye, I'm not holding an exact carbon. I didn't go to Applebee's today, so I don't have an exact copy in my mind of what it normally looks like versus the Fijian one. So you're saying it's definitely not like I saw that the people that were giving out the drinks were wearing Applebee's t-shirts. Yeah. So are they just random Fijian people and they say, hey, here's sort of the recipe and figure it out? Are they bringing in like some Applebee's expert to make sure it's
they're bringing in the shirts and then they're bringing in the stuff, the paper that they put the hamburger on.
Yeah, right.
And Boy Green, thank God you didn't go to Applebee's today because you'd still be puking in the toilet and not here with us.
Oh, wow.
On the TV. Right.
Well, thank you.
The food is not good there. The food is not good there. And anyone that's eaten there recently knows I'm right. So there it is.
All right. Lurch, again, on shameless sponsors.
I'm with you. I don't mind the shameless sponsors. That's for sure. Okay. I do enjoy that. Again, I am becoming more and more in camp with Bret about, does everything just have to happen at this dopey sanctuary that's just like a stupid little half building? Like come on, change the environment up a little bit. I mean, it's the Fijian Islands. I mean, there's all kinds of things. I mean, take them out to their own private island and serve the meal out there. I don't know, just come up with more creative
on
ways
a yacht or something.
See in the dopey sanctuary. There's really nothing to see there. It's like
No,
this
they're phoning it in. It's 50.
shack.
It's,
I mean,
it's season 50. They couldn't
right, like, can't you do it
chip
a little
in
bit
and
bigger?
get a
Right,
resort
you know.
for one of these things.
I mean, you look at what they've done. Like, for instance, look at what they've done, and we've seen the reactions, especially of the old school players. Look at what they've done to the tribal council area,
Right.
which is now just, it's, we remember a couple of seasons ago, we saw the shipwreck, and that was like
Yeah.
insanely great. And they've made this one a palace. I mean, it is a pretty cool spectacle.
Tonight they did the red lighting for Blood Moon. Yeah.
Blood Moon. They did the red lighting tonight. I mean, like, they've made it really cool. And some of the old schoolers who had very, very humble, tribal council areas.
Colby even mentioned that. He said, "I love what you
oh.
did with the place." That was a
Like,
great
yeah,
line.
Yeah, I did hear that, but I guarantee Coach Suri and Colby and anyone else that's been on for a long time, they're talking about how bad the rewards are. They're going to say, "Come on, when we were doing rewards, we were going to beautiful places." Listen, we were the first season to go to the 15 went to Fiji, but then they left again. Right. We were the first season, 33, to go to Fiji, and then they never left.
Right.
We had way better rewards than the sanctuary. Like, we had all kinds of different stuff. So there's plenty they could be doing there. They're just not doing it.
Yeah.
There's a pizza. There's a floating pizza barge that they had us on. It was awesome. And we could jump off it and swim, and like, there's so many cool things they could be doing out there.
Yeah. So they've spent all this money on tribal area, Boy Green, and what the rewards is just it's the lame sanctuary every time. So I'm getting on board with Brett on that. I just like, come on, man, like, get creative here. You're being creative in other areas. Why are you not being creative, especially again in a special season like season 50?
Yeah. I don't know what else you have on the bingo card. So here's just some random stuff. Tiffany had my quote of the night. If I have to scramble tonight, at least I could do it with alcohol in my system. She made the Applebee's thing and said, "Hey, you know what? I don't know what the hell is going to happen tonight, but I know I'm going to have alcohol in the system for it." So I said, Tiffany, I haven't been a big fan of Tiffany this season, but tip of the cap. Brett, I felt like that's something you could champion.
That'll probably be the one meaningful line she has in this show.
Tiffany's probably true to me, and she does seem to do well, so I kind of see why she's on the show, but she definitely seems to be opinionated. She won't work with certain people. She's like that. It's like, to me, it doesn't set her up for doing well on the, like, she's not going to win the show because
I don't think so.
She doesn't have those relationships to get the jury to vote for her at the end.
And she's very abrasive. Obviously, Jonathan thought so that curtailed him to do something else. So, yeah, she seems a little too abrasive, and I don't think that's going to be received well.
Which, to me, is a casting issue. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we casting people that...
Well, they got to love it, I imagine, that she just doesn't give a bleep and she just says whatever. They're like, yeah, nice, yeah, say whatever. Even if it screws up your own game, that's good for us. Good TV, I would assume.
But I don't think she can win for that reason. I just think she's too abrasive with certain people,
There were several bothersome moments for me in the show tonight. Okay. You mentioned that, Tiffany, think that was a little bothersome. Emily ripping Coach's game, like ripping him. Like, I was just like, Emily is going to rip the legend.
That's a good point.
I got to sit through this. So that was really annoying me. Again, I wrote down Emily's really starting to annoy me because, like, what are you doing? Like, she doesn't even really know what Coach's game is. She hasn't spent much time with him at all. And then she's in this little mini tribe with him for like a day. And like, she's going to start assessing, what his game is like. I didn't dig that at all.
And see, this is all, and Lurch, you're making my point that I've been making through this whole thing. Look at Suri. Look at how she plays the game, the finesse. She's, she makes it. It never is her idea. It's always your idea. Well, what if we could do this? What if we did that? I mean, she's unbelievable, and it shows you how the older players, some of the, and I'm not saying they don't have to be old people. I just mean that the older players they just have more of a finesse with dealing with people and getting people to do stuff that they want to do,
Because clearly it worked, right? So Dee and Emily talked. They're like, got to get rid of Dragon Slayer. He was talking shit about you, Emily. Oh, he was? Yeah, fuck him. Yeah. All right, let's get rid of Dragon Slayer. Right, and Cerise like, I don't want to get rid of Dragon Slayer. Hey, Dee, let me just shoot you. Let me just give you some. Sure, Dragon Slayer. That's cool. If that's what you want to do, like, okay.
Cerise, amazing at that.
She does that. Where she says it. She's like, personally, I don't know. I would go for Colby because, like, I think he's head. But if that's what you want to do, if you want to go for Dragon Slayer, that's what you want to. Okay,
I'm on board.
That's what I would do. I'm
just throwing this out there. Yeah, she's really good at that.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah.
She's great at playing the diplomat. Really, really good at playing the diplomat. Very, very good.
And here's my last nugget is just this. God rest his soul. Devins gave a great Keith Nail reference tonight. I love Keith.
I did
And
too.
Keith's line about like the producers must have asked him the question like, "Oh man, Survivor must be fun for you, right?" He's like, hey. And he was like all covered up because it was raining like hell on whatever season it was. He was like, "Let's say that." He was like, "If I wanted to have fun, I'd be on a cruise. I'm on an island. This is hell." And Devins referencing that
Survivor ain't a vacation.
Smile.
You want to be on a vacation? You take a cruise. Survivor's not a vacation.
That's a beautiful,
I partied with Keith Nail in Florida a couple times before he passed, sadly. And
that's
he
amazing.
was such a great guy. And I said to him, Keith, you have one of my favorite lines on Survivor. He goes, "Brad, I know what it is." I said, "Well, say it." And so he did. And we laughed. And he's like, "Yeah, no." He goes, "That was a great line." I go, "Dude, it made the season." And Keith was just a really good dude. Mm-hmm. And again, this is why those people do well, because they're just so fun to be around, so entertaining, and and sad that he's gone now.
All right, last thing, let's just pontificate here. Let's put the crystal ball in front of each of us here about the coming attraction. So we saw 2 dramatic situations potentially brewing here. I know in the coming attractions, they try to make things bigger sometimes than they really are, but they looked pretty dramatic. We saw Coach apparently coming unhinged and getting into a tussle, and then we saw Jonathan calling out D, all right, in a little tussle thing, and Jonathan with a lot of anger and a lot of angst there. So what do you make of these 2 things? Do you think this is going to blow up into something big? What do you think made them both angry? Let's get into this for a second, and let's look at the crystal ball, even though we don't 100% know what the answers are. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm trying to put slice of people together. So D getting rid of Colby, that's the old school, like loyalty dragon warrior alliance. So I'd imagine Jonathan gets pissed. Whoa, you voted on Colby. What the hell happened? So I imagine that could logs in the flame to potentially stir some of that up. Also, Jonathan, right, in his own decision, so maybe both are going to come to a screeching head here, is that D slit the throat of an old era player in Colby. Jonathan slit the throat of a new school player, Camilla. So maybe both parallel lines are going to come crashing into each other. We're talking, and again, we get old era, new era narrative, and that could get very intense for their decision. So that would be my guess based on the information we have, probably.
What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, I think Dragon Slayer is mad about Tribal Council and how it went down, but then again, he would like the honor of everyone crying and being, So, but who knows?
Who do you think he's mad at? Is he mad at Sari? Is he just mad at the new school?
No, I think he's I don't. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
I know. It's a little bit
because he voted for Colby too. So like he knew it was him or nothing.
Yeah,
so,
right.
He counts out to the vote.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could. I think it could be with Dragon Slayer. It could be a total. That could have been
Ozzy. Is it that reheated now that they're all back on the same island?
That could be. It could be something that we haven't even seen yet.
Okay, that's true. Right.
And but I believe Jonathan is probably mad when he comes back to find out who got voted out.
Yeah.
So okay. Well, we will find out next week. Good episode. Yeah. Had some annoying things to me, but still a good episode. A little sad about the draft board, but life goes on.
We're still in it, Lurch. You're still in it, and I tell you, I like your Christian. I think Christian and Joe seems to be hanging in there, but I don't know how Joe's going.
By the skin of his teeth, he's hanging. Yeah, Joe's not getting a very good edit this season. That's for sure.
No, but Christian's all over it. So
Christian is getting a very good edit.
Before we get out of here, so obviously we didn't pick every player there's 24 Castaways, and when we play the game, they're not. So how many people are beyond our people that we're like, ooh, they could win the game? Because that was Savannah last season, right? We didn't pick her, and she ended up winning the whole friggin' thing. So Emily, I definitely don't think she's winning.
Aubrey's
she wasn't selected by.
Oh, we have
Aubrey. Yeah, I think so too. Because I agree. It's not Emily. It's not
Aubrey.
That
we have the winner out of this list.
So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4, 8. So 8. You mentioned Aubrey and Emily, so that takes us to 10. So there's another 4 players hanging out there.
Minute. Time out.
Yeah,
Aubrey.
You think she can win?
Someone should have picked Aubrey because
probably, but
I think she's got a shot.
Jonathan's in that group too. None of us picked Jonathan.
Right.
So obviously he's there. And then there's only a handful of players left that we did not pick that are out there. So. Interesting.
Aubrey's getting that. I've been on the bottom. Nobody likes me.
Stephanie. Stephanie's another one.
Stephanie was another one, of course, that was on that group for sure.
She got a good edit tonight.
She did. Yeah.
How about Stephanie, the old schooler, winning the challenge out of all of those people that she took him down? And I mean,
she used to be a beast back in the day. It looks like she keeps herself in really good shape. I was curious how she would play.
Still, even if you keep yourself in shape, she's getting up there.
Of course, right.
Season 10?
Yes, Palau. Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and she was in that other one too, that escapes me, where she came back. They were like in the Mayan somewhere, and had the Mayan temples. I remember them coming around the bend. It was her and, oh my God, the guy's name escapes me. It was her and him. They were the final two members of their original tribe that kept getting slash. And they had a whole group of castaways. And then they thought that was the season. And then Stephanie and the guy whose name's escaping me come around for the temple. And Jeff goes, "These people are joining you in the game." They're like, "What?" So she was on that season 2. That's escaping me as well. But I think we have our winner though here. I do too.
Might be. All right, gentlemen, as I say, we'll put a nice neat bow on this one. Final thoughts, if anybody has one. Boy Green, you go first. Go ahead. Any thoughts?
Again, I just because this is probably our last chance outside of the recap finale show. A massive salute to Colby. If Colby sees this clip, I love you, Colby. Grew up watching you. What an emotional time for him to just be he was just so vulnerable about his journey, about like him saying, I didn't have fun on this season or this season. I was all in on the first season he played, which was season 2, and go on that crazy journey. And then he kept yearning for something that obviously Survivor wasn't quenching on his other visits. And it seems like he sort of had this full character arc. Like he's a real person. It's not just a movie or a show or something, but he just had this beautiful arc where it seemed like whatever he was looking for, he got. He found it out on the island. And he talked about that too, about, over half of my life has occurred between when I played Survivor and what has happened here. And that Survivor is interwoven into my entire life. So if Colby sees this, man, he just has a tremendous impact on a lot of people. And again, there was a tearjerker. It was emotional. And the last time we're ever going to see him on Survivor, obviously outside of the finale. So emotional.
Brett, you got a final thought?
No, I think we said it all.
Okay. And I'll just reiterate what you said, Boy Green. Like I said at the beginning of the show, Colby, after tonight, Colby moves to the top of my list as my all-time favorite player. For a lot of reasons. I always have liked him, but now, now he's at the top of that list just simply because I think in life, if you live a good life, as you get older, you start to have perspective. And you do get, particularly in your 50s, you become reflective and you start looking at the things you've done. And I think the cool thing about Colby is like, he's done it right, man. Like he's obviously had a good life and he's done it right. And he's done it right on Survivor. I think Survivor has been a great mirror of his life. And he has failed, certainly. He still hasn't won the game, but yet it feels more like a victory. And even though he got eliminated tonight, it felt more like a victory lap.
Yeah, it was great.
Like a failure or a terrible betrayal or anything like that. It just felt good. It felt okay.
It felt like closure. It was a great scene.
Closure. That's a great word.
Closure. That's a great way to put it. So he won't be on the jury, unfortunately, but it was good closure for what has been an amazing career on this show. Because I doubt we'll see him again. Who knows? You never can.
No, I don't know that. Yeah, you said that earlier, but I don't know that.
Okay.
They might call him in 5 more years, and he's like, "Screw it, let's do it."
Well, let me just say, from my perspective, sign me the hell up if that's on the table. I'll see Colby 1,000 times. Bring him back every season. Right. I would love that.
So, Colby, thanks for being a model of consistency. Good dude. Thanks for being a man of integrity.
Class act. He's a class act.
Yeah, thanks for being a class act. Survivor, with all of its twists and turns, with all its plots, with all the new schoolers now kind of taking over this era of Survivor, it's nice to know that there's still some people that play the game the way you play it. So I love it. Love it.
You'll always be the American cowboy.
There you go. All right, that'll do it for this episode, folks. We'll be back again next week. I think we're back to a regular hour-and-a-half episode next week. All right, so about a little after 9:30 next week, we'll be back. We'll break it all down. Brett, thanks again. Boy Green, thanks again to everyone that got in the comments, for everyone that watched tonight. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next week. Take care.
Take care.